Greetings, welcome to a new semester. My name is Dr. Dan Stasko, and I'm going to be your guide this semester. And like a guide, I like to draw out a little roadmap, and that roadmap is going to be our syllabus for this semester. It may look like this, it may be an electronic version, may be slightly different. So let's go through what the basics expectations are for this class. First of all, what to expect of me. I'm pretty informal. All right, you don't have to spend a lot. I don't have to call me doctor just because I spent 1,000 years in school. Dan is fine. Right, that's suitable. But if you are going to use a title, use the correct one. Mr. Stasko is my dad. All right, so if you're going to put that effort into a title, use the correct one. Dan will work, or Dr. Dan is pretty common. Where to find me? I live in 332 Agenstein. All right, if you are in the lecture, you're in the building, and so we're around the corner from the lecture in the suite in the chemistry office. I'm here all the time. I'm readily available. I'm happy to meet outside of my regular office hours as well, and I'll talk about that. My contact information, you can reach me at this email address or my phone. And if you call, leave a message with your name. Don't just call and then hang up. I'm not gonna, if I get a message and there's no name or there's no person or no number, I can't call you back. All right. So when you call or email, make sure you include your name. fluffybunny@yahoo.com. I can't tell who that is. I can't tell which class they're in. And so questions like, oh, can you help me with problem 13? Well, I might have 7 different problem 13s. So that makes it a little more easier for me to get back to you. Let me say one thing about office hours. My office hours are listed. They're posted on my door. They're posted in the syllabus. But I want you in my office. Right? If you have questions and you're not getting it in the class, and you're not getting it in the lab, all right, getting the answers you want, feel free to come to my office at any time. All right? Set up an appointment. I have a nice little tool that allows you to set up an appointment at your time, your discretion. I have a pretty flexible schedule, and I can slot you in for a half hour to an hour. Now, that being said, the goal of this time is not to recap the lecture that you might have missed or to go over everything again. Right? These are focused sessions on problem solving or techniques that you might, or topics that you might. I can do a lot of answering by email. All right? If you contact me by email, either through the Moodle quick mail or through direct email, I can answer questions relatively quickly over the phone or via email. And that usually does, and I pretty pride myself on being able to do a pretty good job. So, but if that's not enough, office hours. Right? And if you can't make office hours because of whatever, if you can't make office hours because they don't fit your schedule, set up an appointment. So you set up an appointment, come down to my office, and we will get you, hopefully, the help that you are looking for. All right? So that's a little bit about me. Let's talk about the course requirements. All right? Lecture. Go to lecture. The easiest way to screw up in this class is to not go to lecture. Lecture is your time to interact with me. I'm also in some of the labs, but that's your time to ask questions. And also to hear the questions your friends are having, because they also have the same questions as you, or similar questions. Or you go, oh yeah, I didn't know that. Right? So lecture is that time for interaction. And it's also the time where all the assessment is done. Most of the assessment in this class, except for a small amount of it, is done in class. You miss those classes, those assignments are gone. Right? Now, there are a small, limited number of excused absences that you can use. Those are posted in the university handbook, and we'll talk a little bit about those in lecture, but only a little. But for the most part, there are no makeups. You're in class or you're missing. If you know you're going to be out of class, it's upon you to contact me in advance and set up a suitable arrangement for making up work. I'm not an ogre, all right? I understand life, so but don't push your luck, so to speak. All right? It's your responsibility to contact me if you miss class, if you miss an assignment. If you're just going to miss class, if you're just going to show up and there's no assignment, almost a lot of the material is posted also on Moodle. So it's your job to go there and make it up or look for it. Certain assignments are in class, but sometimes there's pieces missing. But it's your job usually within 24 hours, especially if there's a point assignment that you're missing, a graded assignment that you're missing. Those you have to contact me. After 24 hours, it's not my problem anymore. So labs are even worse. If you miss a lab, those are unexcused absences, and they are not made up. All right. So, and if you miss more than 2 labs, you get a failure for the class because those only meet once a week. Right? With lecture, you can squeeze in a little bit extra. No, you can't jump between sections. All right. So it doesn't work like that. You can't just jump into someone else's section. Lecture. You'll get far more out of lecture if you come prepared. Reading the material in advance. Attempting the problems. You don't have to complete them, but attempting the problems that are listed in the syllabus. Those will go a long way towards improving your success. The expectation is that for every hour in class, you will spend 3 hours outside of class. This is a 4-credit hour class. We're expecting 12 hours of work. It sounds like a lot, but it's a little more than an hour a day. And so when we say study an hour a day, what we're talking about is study, not sitting there with the radio on, gabbing with your friends while you're doing this work. Right? Focused on the work. Drilling problems is, in my opinion, the best way to study chemistry. And to that effect, we will be doing a lot of work in and around the lecture that it forces you to drill problems. All right? So chemistry is not intuitive. It's not like you just read it and know it. Well, some people. But it's about practice. And it's like playing music. Unless you're a prodigy, the skills are developed over time. And so our goal is to give you that time, and we think we do a pretty good job of that. If you run into problems, there is a whole host of academic support out there that can help you. This runs everything from classroom to help with other things that are located outside the classroom. So your first step in this is asking me. Right? If you have a question, I've probably heard it before, or I know a way to get to it, the answer. So try and ask those questions in class, preferably, or in lab. Right? Everybody in the lecture is also in the lab. So those times are when you can do that. There is no shame in asking a question about content. All right? So everybody else is paying the same dollar as you. Get your money's worth. All right? If you don't get a sufficient answer from me, all right, there are other resources where you can go that might put it in a better way than I would. All right? These include your student mentors in your lab, as well as tutors in the Center for Academic Support. All right? These Center for Academic Support has people available per class, or you can set up people available. We have at least one chemistry tutor over there. If you have needs for your learning that go beyond the normal scope of the class, you need to contact the Accessibility Resource Center that can help you ensure your success in this class. I can't do anything extra unless they tell me that this student needs more time or there are some other accommodation that needs to be made. Most students are pretty adept at this, and so it's pretty easy and pretty seamless. This should be done within the first 2 weeks of class if you do need accommodation, and it's not retroactive. Other issues, stress is too much, things aren't going as well as you would like, college is a rough transition. You have at your disposal the counseling center, and they're really good at giving you ideas on how to manage stress and how to manage time. Sometimes, particularly with classes where I absolutely need the grade to get into my med school program or what have you, they can help you with strategies for coping with stress. The classroom, right? This is a professional environment. I am relatively informal, all right? But still, you know, I'm doing my job, all right? When someone's doing their job, you often don't want to be distracting them from their job. So, that being said, no cell phones, no texting. I can see it. And I'm sitting, you know, you're sitting there. All right, you're not you're not putting in the effort that you need. All right, yeah, I understand the message. All right, the message that you have to get back to. All right, but I also understand that the class is only an hour long. Just be calm. Don't distract me. Don't distract your fellow students. Again, they're paying a lot of money for this class too. Right? So don't be disruptive. And if you have questions about a grade, for instance, Jane got 2 on this one and I only got 1, well, then that kind of stuff is best done after class. All right, so come on down and we'll make corrections. All right. I'm very happy to take another look at grades, and grading is a subjective process. We try to make it as neutral as possible, but every now and then there are some issues that crop up, and I'm happy to give you the points that you deserve. Okay? Academic integrity, right? There are behaviors we expect of you, all right? Plagiarism, cheating, falsification, all of that, well described in your student handbook on page 4. I'm not going to go into it in any great detail, except that come test time, if your eyes start to wander, I'll ding you. All right, and there are no warnings. There's no warnings. The first offense is a failure of the assignment, right? And you don't want, and that's not something that you want. The last page of your syllabi, the last printed page, contains a whole host of other information about appealing grades, expectations for classroom behavior, university attendance policy, as well as discussions on Title IX, harassment, discrimination, and sexual misconduct. Right? We are mandatory reporters. Right? If you come to us, there are some limitations on the confidentiality of what we can talk about. If you talk to us about things, which is a positive thing, we want you to be open. But we will have to report these types of things to other people. We can move things forward, but we can't guarantee confidentiality. All right? So that's enough said about that. You've all been through the training, or you should be, or else you won't be able to register for your next class. Right? So that's the general gist of. We would go through the first 15 or 20 minutes of class. Let me say one thing about office hours. My office hours are listed. They're posted on my door. They're posted in the syllabus. But I want you in my office. Right? And, if you have questions and you're not getting it in the class, and you're not getting it in the lab, all right, getting the answers you want, feel free to come to my office at any time. All right? Set up an appointment. I have a nice little tool that allows you to set up an appointment at your time, your discretion. I have a pretty flexible schedule, and I can slot you in for a half hour to an hour. Now, that being said, the goal of this time is not to recap the lecture that you might have missed or to go over everything again. Right? These are focused sessions on problem solving or techniques that you might, or topics that you might. I can do a lot of answering by email. All right, if you contact me by email, either through the Moodle quick mail or through direct email, I can answer questions relatively quickly over the phone or via email. That usually doesn't. I pride myself on being able to do a pretty good job. So, but if that's not enough, office hours. All right, and if you can't make office hours because of whatever. If you can't make office hours because they don't fit your schedule, set up an appointment. So you set up an appointment, come down to my office, and we will get you, hopefully, the help that you are looking for. All right? So that's about it. Hopefully you have a good semester. Hopefully it's pretty easy. We try to set things up to make it as easy as possible. We try to set things up to make success as readily available to you as possible. All right, so enjoy.